When did you realize your parents shouldn't have had kids? I was 13 when I heard my mom tell her friend Linda that having 3 kids was her biggest regret. They were drinking wine on the patio, thought I was at basketball practice. But coach canceled, so I came home early. If I could do it over, I'd stop at 1, my mom said, laughing like it was funny. Maybe 2, but 3? That broke me. I'm the 3rd kid. I stood behind the sliding door, basketball still under my arm, listening to my mother explain how I ruined her life, how she was finally getting her career back after my sister. Then my brother came along and set her back again, but she managed. Then I happened. Birth control failure, she called me, like I was a defective product. Linda asked which kid she'd keep if she had to choose. My mom didn't even hesitate. Sophia, obviously, she's going to Yale next year. Pure genius, that one. What about the boys? Tyler's sweet, good at sports, easy kid. She took another sip. But Ryan, he's just there. Doesn't excel at anything. Mediocre grades, no real talents. Sometimes I look at him and think, what's the point? What's the point? Of me, her son. I went to my room and didn't come out for dinner. When my dad knocked, I pretended to be asleep. But I wasn't sleeping. I was replaying every moment that suddenly made sense. Why my baby pictures stopped after age 2. Why Sophia got a car for her 16th birthday. Tyler got a motorcycle for his, and I got a used bike from Craigslist. Why they went to every one of Tyler's football games but couldn't remember when my art show was. The next morning, I tested something. I told them I needed money for a field trip. $20. Ask your father, Mom said without looking up from her phone. Ask your mother, Dad said from behind his newspaper. Tyler walked in. Hey, I need new cleats. How much? Mom immediately asked. Like $80. She pulled out her wallet. Here's 100. Get good ones. I stopped asking for things after that. 2 months later, report cards came out. I got straight B's. My best ever. I was so proud. Worked really hard for those grades. Left it on the kitchen counter where they'd see it. It sat there for a week, untouched. Tyler brought home a C+ in English. Mom hired him a tutor that same day. We can't let your grades slip, honey. You've got scholarships to think about. But the moment that broke me, my 14th birthday, they forgot. Not like they got the date wrong. They literally forgot I existed that day. Sophia was visiting from college. Tyler had a game. They all went out to celebrate his winning touchdown. Posted family photos on Facebook. So proud of our kids, the caption read. I wasn't in any of the photos. I wasn't even invited. I sat alone eating leftover pizza when Tyler texted, "Where are you? Home. Why didn't you come to my game? Nobody told me about it. Oh, Mom said you had plans with friends. I didn't have friends. How would she know if I did?" That night, Tyler came to my room with a cupcake he'd bought from 7-Eleven. Happy birthday, bro. I'm sorry. You remembered? Of course I remembered. He sat on my bed. You know they love you, right? They're just distracted. I showed him my phone. 0 texts from our parents. 0 missed calls. Nothing. His face changed. Oh, yeah. Oh, Tyler started noticing things after that. How they'd order pizza with everyone's favorite toppings except mine. How they planned family vacations around Sophia's and his schedules, never asking when I could go. How they introduced him as our athlete and Sophia as our scholar and me as also ours. The worst part, they weren't mean. They weren't abusive. They just forgot I existed. I was like furniture. There, but not worth noticing. Last month, I won an art competition. First place state for my age group. The teacher called home, left a voicemail. I heard Mom play it while I was in the kitchen. That's nice, she said to Dad, then deleted it. Didn't mention it to me. Didn't ask to see the piece. Nothing. Tyler drove me to the awards ceremony. He took pictures, cheered louder than anyone. On the way home, he said, you know what? When I get drafted, you're coming with me. Forget them. You can't take care of me forever. Watch me. The thing about being the forgotten kid, you learn to be invisible, but you also see everything. I see Mom pop anxiety meds before Sophia calls. I see Dad drink himself to sleep most nights. I see them fighting when they think no one's around. They shouldn't have had kids. Not because of me, because they don't know how to love without keeping score. Sophia's their trophy, Tyler's their entertainment, and me, I'm their regret. But joke's on them. Tyler and I made a pact. The second I turn 18, I'm gone. He's already saving money for my college fund since they forgot to start one for me.
I embarrassed my parents online to get revenge. My parents, or any of my family members, don't really seem to respect me. Last week, my favorite cousin was getting married, and I was taking pictures at his wedding. I wasn't getting paid as much as I usually do on outside weddings, but I was okay with it. During the formal pictures with the wedding party, everything went great, and I got a lot of good shots. But when it was time to take pictures of different family groups with the couple, things got frustrating. People kept talking and looking away from the camera. I politely reminded them that the camera was the big black thing on the tripod, but they told me to stop being a smartass and that they knew what a camera was. I asked my wife to record a video of everyone being rude to me. Later, my cousin loved all the pictures from their wedding, except the family photos. But then, my family started complaining about the bad pictures on my social media. I explained that I had tried to tell them where to look, but they said I should have waited for them to be ready. So I started posting short video clips of them being rude to me.
AITA for having my dad's wife's number blocked so she can't call or text me. I, 19 metal teen fama, live with my grandparents about 20 minutes from my dad's 39 metal male house. He lives there with his wife of 18 months, Nessa, 37 metal female. I met Nessa when I was 16 and the two of us did not get along. My dad tried to make things work between us, but she's not somebody I would ever like, and I will always annoy her by not being into the stuff she's into because she thinks I do like them, and just refuse to spend time with her doing this stuff. We lived together for a few months, but I knew they were getting married and she was sticking around, and I knew I would not tolerate living with her for long. I decided to move into my grandparents' house when I turned 18. It made my dad sad, but I told him we could still have a relationship. I just wouldn't live there anymore. After I moved out, I blocked Nessa's number. I don't want to hear from her or talk to her or text her. A few weeks ago, my dad called to tell me Nessa was in the hospital, and she had a pretty bad miscarriage. By the time I got there, to be with him, not her, Nessa was taken into surgery, and they had to perform a hysterectomy on her. When she came to, she was distraught, and she freaked out on Dad because it was only when she was miscarrying that she realized I had blocked her because she kept trying to call me. Dad was in a meeting and didn't have his phone. So for 2 hours she was in distress, and she tried me but I didn't answer. My dad asked me if I had her blocked or I just didn't answer. I said I blocked her when I moved out. He was sad about it, but he seemed to move on. Nessa called me all kinds of names, and she's demanding I unblock her and make it up to her because it's my fault everything happened, and now she can never have kids. I refuse to do this, and she's constantly pissed at my dad because she can't tell me how pissed she is because of being blocked.
When I was 11, my friend's mom told me something I probably should have never known. This happened like over a decade ago, but it's still stuck in my head like it happened last week. I used to hang out a lot at my best friend's house. We were like 10 or 11, always playing video games, eating cereal at 2 a.m., doing kid stuff. His dad wasn't around, and he always said he died of cancer when he was little. Never really questioned it. That's just what we all knew. One day his mom was driving me home after a sleepover, super casual. Out of nowhere, she goes, "You know, he didn't really die of cancer. He had AIDS." I just sat there, quiet. I didn't know what to say. I was literally 11. I didn't even fully understand what AIDS was yet. She just kept talking, like I was a therapist or something. Said he had cheated on her, got infected, and died fast. Said she never told her son the truth because he wouldn't understand, and she didn't want him to grow up hating his dad. Then she dropped me off like it was nothing. I remember reading that when people usually do this, they're like micro-therapies to release what they carry inside. I never told anyone, not even my friend, still haven't. Every time I see him post about how much he misses his dad or talks about how he fought so hard against the cancer, I feel sick. Not because it's his fault, obviously, but because I know something he doesn't and probably never will. It's not my place to say anything, but it's been living rent-free in my brain for over 15 years. Needed to say it somewhere.
My mom wished that I would disappear from her life, so I gave her exactly what she wanted, and now she's miserable. My mother weaponized disappointment like other parents used praise. She'd sigh when introducing me to friends, hang up on me mid-sentence if I wasn't saying something impressive enough, and her house was filled with photos of my perfect cousin Sarah, who she always compared me to. Even her compliments came wrapped in poison. "You look pretty today," which is rare. She started early. When I brought home a report card with straight A's and 1 B+, she drove to school and demanded they remove me from honors classes because obviously I couldn't handle the pressure. The month after that, I won second place at the science fair, and she told the winner's mother, loud enough for everyone to hear, that my daughter probably cheated and still couldn't win. How disappointing. When I got into my dream college, she called admissions and tried to decline my acceptance because state school would be more appropriate for someone of your abilities. She didn't even leave my boyfriend out of it, announcing at family dinner that he was doing charity work by dating down. When I bought my first house, she posted on Facebook that I'd finally found a place that matches my low standards, with photos highlighting every flaw. If I even confronted her about any of this, she'd call other relatives immediately. I'm worried about her mental health. She keeps imagining I said terrible things when all I've ever done is support her. Maybe she needs some professional help. The breaking point came last winter when my appendix burst and I was rushed into emergency surgery. I called my mother while terrified and in pain, begging her to come give me some assurance. She sighed at my voice and said, "I won't come. Do you even realize how disappointed I am that my only child can't even stay healthy? Sarah's mother never has to deal with hospital visits." She hung up before I could respond. While nurses prepped me for surgery, I checked Facebook one last time. My mom had posted 10 minutes after our call. "Some days I wish I could just start over with a child who doesn't constantly disappoint me. It's like I might as well not have one at all." My own friends were texting me screenshots, horrified that my mother would write this while I was being wheeled into surgery. That's when something inside me snapped into place. She wanted to act like she didn't have a child, so I'd give her exactly what she asked for. I decided to lean into her declaration. If she wished she didn't have a child, then I'd honor that wish. I started simple. Changed my voicemail to a memorial message. "You've reached the memorial line for Helen's daughter. Please leave condolences after the tone." Then I had funeral flowers delivered to her house, laying the foundation perfectly. Mom called me 37 times that day. I didn't answer. Next, I sent sympathy cards to all our relatives. "Thinking of you during this difficult time of loss," they read. I signed them, "A friend who cares." Whenever I ran into her church friends at the grocery store, I'd mention casually that I was planning a memorial service. Since Mom declared she might as well not have a child, I figured I should honor her wishes, I'd say with a sad smile. It's what she wanted. Word spread fast through her social circles. People started asking Mom about the service. She tried explaining I wasn't actually dead, but that made her look even worse. "So you said you don't have a child, but you do?" they'd ask. "That's really messed up, Helen." The masterpiece came together when I scheduled my memorial for the same day as her charity club's Mother's Day luncheon. I rented the community center directly across the street from the country club, put up up a big sign. Memorial service for Helen's child. I sent invitations to everyone. Helen recently declared she might as well not have a child at all. Please join us in acknowledging her loss. Light refreshments will be served. I included a screenshot of her Facebook post. The turnout was incredible. Turns out I wasn't the only one Mom had hurt. Relatives poured in. Even cousin Sarah showed up. Meanwhile, Mom's luncheon had maybe 12 ladies who kept glancing at my memorial through the windows. Every time someone left her event to check out mine, she got more frantic. She finally stormed into my memorial, face purple with rage. This is ridiculous. You're not dead. Stop this immediately. I stood calmly at the podium. I'm simply honoring what you posted, Mom. You said you might as well not have a child. Mom left in tears, but not before snarling that I disappointed her one last time. The fallout was immediate, with her charity asking her to resign. Her Facebook posts were full of comments calling her the worst mother ever. Even her church friends stopped inviting her to get-togethers. And the best was that she couldn't play victim without explaining why her daughter was holding a memorial for herself. She'd trapped herself completely. 6 months later, Mom tells people I'm dramatic, but she stopped posting about disappointments and stopped comparing me to Sarah. She even sent a letter begging for reconciliation and asking me to tell people she was a good mother, but I just burnt it. I made the biggest mistake of my life and will never say sorry. When I was in high school, I had a little white dog named Charlie, and he was my best friend. My mom hated looking after him and always made comments about him being too much to take care of. One night she joked about giving him away, but I didn't think she was serious. However, the next night I got home late, and when I looked for him, he wasn't there. I searched everywhere but couldn't find him. In that moment, I completely lost it. I remember storming out to my living room and completely lit into my mom. I called her the worst mom in the world and told her she doesn't love me. I said I hope I never see her again and stormed back to my room. She tried to come in, but I kept the door locked and told her to leave me alone. I cried myself to sleep, but the next morning when I got up, I heard something in my closet. When I opened it, Charlie ran out. I was so glad to see him, but then I realized what I had done. I felt so horrible and had to tell my mom how sorry I was. I went out to see if she was home, but she had already left for work. She had to drive to Manhattan, so she left early and came home late most days. I felt so bad I stayed home from school and just wanted to give her a hug. That day, I remember watching TV when the channel changed itself and I saw the building on fire. I didn't think it was real, but after a few minutes, I realized what was happening. This was on September 11th, and after I watched for a few minutes, I realized that was the building my mom was in. I was trying to just catch my breath and barely heard our phone ringing in the kitchen. I answered it and heard her. She was telling me she loves me and was so sorry for not being good enough. I tried to tell her I was sorry and ask if she was okay. She told me she loves me, and before I could say anything, I heard something loud over the phone. The line cut out, and I asked if she was there. It was silent, and when I looked at the TV, I saw the building collapsing. I'll never forgive myself. If you still have your parents, please go tell them you love them.
My girlfriend just admitted to me that her mom wants us to break up and said she might do it. What should I do? I was talking with my girlfriend earlier today, and she mentioned that her mom has been hinting for her to break up with me. It didn't seem too bad, maybe stung a little because I thought her mom liked me, until I asked what she would do if her mom tried to make her do it. Unfortunately, she told me she would. She said she didn't know at first, and then started saying she values her mom's opinion a lot, and then devolved into saying she probably would. She said she'd want to stay friends, and I told her I wouldn't be able to do that if she went through with breaking up with me, because her mom asked. She's an adult and can make her own decisions, so if she did decide to do it, it would 100% be her own choice. I understand she loves her mom and it's a hard decision, but it's still really upsetting to me. I told her I wouldn't talk to her if she did that, and now she's upset and her tone is way off. What should I do? I don't want to break up with her, but I'm scared that her mom telling her to do so is just around the corner. Edit to add. I didn't include our ages because I don't want her finding this and getting upset, but I'll say the ages in comments if someone asks, so it's not in the actual story if this somehow goes viral on TikTok or something. Edit to add. Here are some details that people keep asking for. We are both around 18 in age. We're long distance. We've been together for about 2 years. Her mom wants us to break up because she thinks she won't take risks or make friends in college if she's taken, and she values her mom's opinion a lot because they're close to each other. That's what she says, but her mom is incredibly toxic and narcissistic, so I think it's trauma bonding. Update. We broke up. We tried to talk it through, and I tried to tell her that what her mom is doing is wrong and that she needs to make her own decision, and she couldn't. She doesn't want to make her mom mad, but she still wants to be with me. We decided to try and compromise and just go on a break instead of fully breaking up. We're going to try to be friends until she's out of college or until her mom doesn't care anymore, so we can possibly give things another shot. Thank you to everyone who gave advice and encouraging words. I'm feeling really bad at the moment, and I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to get over this. So, last week I came home early from work and walked in on something I shouldn't have. I'm the eldest son who's still living with his parents. I have a younger brother who's in a different city for his uni, so it's just me and my parents in the house. So yesterday, me being the idiot that I am, came home early from work and used the key to enter the house without making much noise. This was the first time I did that. Normally I rung the bell. Well, I entered the house and started hearing like loud breathing sounds. Ick. I should have known better than to go further in, but I had just thought someone was just working out in the house. It wasn't a workout. Well, I went in the living room and saw and heard it with my own traumatized eyes and ears. I guess I just wasn't ready to see and hear my Muslim mom say unspeakable things. I kind of used to think she was innocent, but oh well. Anyway, I won't share the rest of the details. I just haven't been able to make eye contact with her since then, and things have been a little weird at home. One thing is for sure, though, I'm now coming home late from work and ringing the bell quite hard.
I pretend it never happened, but it shaped everything about me when I was younger. Something happened to me that I never talk about. Not to my friends, not to my family. Sometimes I wonder if I imagined it just to cope with how badly it still hurts. I was abused. Not for long, and not in ways that leave bruises people can see. But it was real. It was someone who should have protected me. Someone who made me feel like their sickness was my fault. I was too young to understand it, and too scared to tell anyone. So Elle became quiet. I became good. I became whatever I thought people needed me to be, so they wouldn't look too close. And now, I'm an adult who doesn't trust anyone, who dissociates during intimacy, who panics at things that shouldn't matter. I'm successful on the outside, funny, functional. But inside, I'm still that terrified kid wondering if anyone will believe me, if I even deserve to be believed. I've never told anyone the full story. I don't even know if I can. Saying it out loud makes it feel real, and if it's real, then I have to accept that the people who should have protected me failed. And I don't think I'm ready for that. I just want to be okay. I want to forgive myself for surviving the only way I knew how, by pretending it didn't happen. I'm not looking for pity. I just needed to finally say it, even if no one knows who I am.
I'm getting revenge on my abusive dad. My dad cheated on my mom when I was 6, so he's been a piece of crap for as long as I've known him. He married his affair partner, and mom replaced him with a much better stepdad. They split custody, but mom was definitely the favorite. Mom got a job abroad when I started high school, so I lived full-time with my dad for a few years as a teen. They were the worst years of my life. Dad treated me like an inconvenience, and made it clear he didn't see me as part of his family. Family events never included me. I was left home from holidays, wasn't allowed to hang out with friends, and couldn't leave the house without his permission. He even paid a neighbor to spy on me when he wasn't around. When I was 16, I finally snapped at him. I told him I hated him, and hated my life with him. Dad called me spoiled and entitled, then kicked me out. Luckily, a friend took me in, but I didn't speak to my dad again for years. Life went on. I kept in touch with my half-brother, but dad was radio silent. I went to college, fell in love, and got engaged. I didn't even tell my dad that I'd gotten engaged. Well, he found out somehow and sent me a message about how excited he was to be part of my wedding. He said how sorry he was for kicking me out, and how he wants to fulfill his lifelong dream of walking me down the aisle. Hell will freeze over before I have that man at my wedding. I told him my wedding is family only, which he isn't, and blocked him. My brother says my dad's really upset, but I don't care. After how he treated me, this feels like some much-deserved revenge.
When did you realize you were not the favorite child? When my parents threw my sister a surprise party on my birthday, then tried to convince me I was the one being dramatic about it. I was turning 16 and had been not so subtly hinting about wanting a birthday party for months. Every time I brought it up, mom would give me the vague, "we'll see" answer, or say, "maybe something small, honey." Dad would just nod and change the subject, so I kept it low-key. Maybe dinner, maybe a cake. I wasn't expecting the Ritz. On the morning of my actual birthday, I woke up feeling a little hopeful. I figured at the very least I'd get pancakes or something. Instead, mom handed me a $20 bill and said, "Happy birthday, sweetie. Why don't you go see a movie with your friends today?" I blinked. "Don't you want to do something together?" "We'll celebrate later," she said quickly, basically shoving me out the door. Something felt off, but I figured maybe they were planning a surprise for later. I texted a few friends, but everyone was busy, so I ended up watching a random comedy alone at a half-empty matinee theater on my birthday. When I came home around 6 p.m., there were cars everywhere, lined up down the driveway spilling onto the street. My heart jumped. Maybe they did plan something for me after all. I opened the front door to find our entire living room decorated top to bottom in pink and gold. Balloons, streamers, confetti, a massive chocolate cake on the table, my sister Emma's friends everywhere. And then the front door behind me opened. "Surprise!" everyone screamed at Emma. She walked in behind me and immediately started squealing and hugging people. The banner across the wall read, "Happy early 18th, Emma." Her actual birthday wasn't for another month. I stood there frozen, still holding my crumpled movie ticket stub while the crowd celebrated my sister. My mom appeared next to me and hissed, "Don't you dare make a scene right now. Emma's been stressed with college apps. She needed this." I just watched in disbelief while my entire family sang happy birthday to my sister on my actual birthday, with my friends down there in the crowd. One of them even asked, "Wait, whose birthday is it today?" Dad laughed and said, "Oh, that's just Arya. She's not really a party person anyway." Not a party person. On my 16th birthday, while they threw someone else a party in my house, I went upstairs and cried until my face was swollen. About an hour later, Emma knocked on my door holding a paper plate with a slice of her cake. "Hey," she said softly. "I honestly didn't know they were doing it today. I thought it was going to be next weekend." I asked her, "Did you ask for it to be on my birthday?" She paused. "I mentioned I wanted a party soon, and Mom said your birthday was perfect timing since people were already thinking about celebrations, and it was a Saturday." That's when it all clicked. My birthday wasn't special. It was convenient. A placeholder. A reason to decorate the house and invite people over for Emma. She sat on my bed looking guilty. "I can tell them to stop or move it." I shook shook my head. Too late. They're already down there. I spent the rest of the night upstairs doing homework while the party went on until midnight. Laughter, music, and cheering from downstairs. None of it for me. The next morning, I found a Hallmark card on my dresser with $50 inside. Hope you had a wonderful sweet 16, it said, in Mom's handwriting, like a bribe to pretend none of it happened. I brought it up at breakfast. You threw Emma a party on my birthday. Don't be so dramatic, Mom said. We celebrated you too. You got money. You got to see your friends. I went to the movies alone, I said. You're always saying you don't like crowds, Dad added. We thought that's what you wanted. I couldn't believe it. They were really trying to gaslight me into believing I had chosen to be ignored. From that day on, I stopped celebrating my birthday at home. Every year after that, I made my own plans with friends. Bowling, movie nights, sleepovers. Emma got 3 more surprise parties before she graduated, including one just for getting into college. I got gift cards. Now I'm 23. Emma still calls me every year on my birthday and says, I'm sorry about that party. And I always say, I know you are, but you didn't choose the date. Last year, Mom actually asked why I never come home for my birthday anymore. I told her, because you taught me it's not really my day anyway. She rolled her eyes and said I was holding a grudge over something from years ago. Yeah, some people get sweet 16s. I got a slice of someone else's cake.